Hello, my beautiful souls. Happy full moon on Monday, the day of the moon, with the moon in Capricorn in opposition to the sun in Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. So lots of potent energy today. I had intended to do this reading in the morning when the moon was at its peak at about 7:30 this morning. And boy, that did not work out as planned. A lot of potent energy today. And, as I work to grow my business, I work to grow myself, and that means honoring the needs of self. Gotta lead by example. So I took the opportunity to rest. I let go of obligations let go of me. I was able to work on my jigsaw puzzle and just really sit with myself and let myself relax and enjoy the act of letting go, which is full moon is all about, especially Capricorn, right? Capricorn's about hard work and discipline, and the full moon's about releasing. So with Cancer, the sun in Cancer, like there's a sense of like needing to nourish one's self, right? And balancing that against our here comes my dog. Balancing that against the needs of our businesses or our work life, creating foundations that will sustain us for the next 6 months. And there's a lot of energy happening today. The moon or Mercury is still conjunct the sun right now. So there's a lot of emphasis on how we communicate with people. There's a really beautiful aspect where Mars is trining Saturn, so there's all about taking action. Am I reading that right? No, it's not trining. Okay. Sorry. Saturn is trining the sun. I have my little printout here of the aspects. So this is about taking action, but at the same time, taking action that is aligned, that is not going to be too demanding on ourselves, that's going to set us up for success, right? Letting go of the actions that are just to keep us busy and focusing on the things that are actually going to create, I feel like this is such a buzzword these days, to help us create true abundance, right? I had a friend post how, success for so long has been defined as like how much money we make and how much we work and how much time we spend away from our family. And now as we are kind of moving away from the effects of the Industrial Revolution, true success is the ability to pursue the things that truly bring us joy in life, right? And, we should be able to work hard and enjoy the fruits of those labors while still enjoying those labors as well. So on that note, let's get to our reading. I pulled the Archetype card, Ascended Masters card, and a Healing Waters card. So the Archetype is kind of like what energy we're in, trying to balance in ourselves. The Ascended Masters is who we can call on to help facilitate staying in the highest energy of that. And I'm using the Healing Waters oracle for like the healing energy behind that as well. And then we'll go on to our tarot cards. And the Archetype card I pulled is the King. So appropriate for, Capricorn Cancer opposition. Here we've got the Mother and the Father, and we're focusing on the King here. Enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge, right? The way a father should. Shadow attributes can be excessive feelings of entitlement and rulership without restraint. And the thing to note here is the King is usually born to it, where the Emperor usually can arise from common society. So there's this idea of like stepping into the roles we were born into, and having the leadership to provide for others from a place of benevolence and not of demanding, but also being willing to be called to the carpet. Take accountability if we're abusing our power. So the Ascended Masters card, we have the White Buffalo Calf Woman, and her energy represents a peace offering. And what was it that I loved about this? As you allow compassion to situations, love's healing power ensures that everyone's needs are met harmoniously. So this card heralds the resolution of an argument or misunderstanding. Be open to seeing other people's points of views. And I just did a community reading, and this theme came up, that idea of peace offering in order to resolve conflict, opening up and listening to other people's point of views, taking accountability for our part in that. So I feel like these two cards are still in that energy, but coming from a place of love, again, benevolence. And then the Healing Waters card was so beautiful. The Wellspring. What are you thirsty for? Take a breath. And this is to remind us that there's only so much that we're capable of. We are human. We are not superhuman. Maybe there are some of us out there. But to really honor the needs of self. And as I was pulling this card, I just reflected on how I chose to spend my day today. And I was like, I did that. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of myself. The Wellspring card is an invitation to look at where you've been going into overdrive, reflect on the areas where you've been pushing yourself beyond your physical limits, and consider whether you've been forcing yourself to run on your reserves. Reassess the speed and force you're using and bring harmony and balance back into your life to trust your inner seasons. Look after yourself and appreciate your body. And this kind of goes back to that full moon energy, right? Releasing the excessive work. True success comes from the enjoyment of what we do with ourselves, whether it's work or spending time with people. And this card is really telling us to look at success through that lens, and make sure we're taking care of ourselves and we're not in that industrial revolution mindset of, work until you drop, right? How are you being called to care more for your body? So really beautiful messages, because when we care for ourselves, we can better facilitate that energy of the king, right? Providing for those around us. Because if we're depleted, what good are you, honestly? There was a really interesting TikTok I saw where a woman had 2 cups, and she was pouring water out of a cup, and it said, pour for yourself first. And so she's trying to pour in her cup, but the water is running down the edge and pouring into the other cup instead. And I was like, I feel this so hard as a mom, right? Fill your cup with what? Everybody else is already taking it. But it's so important, right? Figure out how to change that angle of the cup so you can fill your own cup first, right? Otherwise you have nothing left to give. So, on to our reading. What have we achieved in the last 6 months since the new moon in Capricorn? And we have the Queen of Pentacles. And I can't remember this lovely lady. It's not Aretha Franklin. I think it's Billie Holiday. Don't quote me on that. The Queen of Pentacles. What have we achieved in the last 6 months? We've really created a solid foundation for ourselves, and we're going to start to see the wellspring of success come up for us. What am I yet to achieve? The Fool reversed. So, the Fool typically represents having some cavalier energy and starting off on a new adventure. And this full moon is really assessing what we've accomplished so far and where we need to move to next. And again, with that harmonious Cancer energy of the sun, nourishing ourselves. What have I yet to achieve? I feel like there's where do we go from here, but in a way that's most beneficial, right? I'm gonna come back to that. What does full expansion look like? We have the Empress reversed, and the Empress is about, it's very harmonious with the Queen of Pentacles energy, which is great for that Capricorn energy, a lot of earth energy. It's Betsy Ross, she's known as the face of independence, and typically the Empress is a pregnant lady surrounded by pomegranates, showing fertility, And so full expansion is about really like stepping into our ability to create for ourselves, creating. And it's interesting because we've got the Empress with Betsy Ross creating the flag, and we've got the Fool reversed, right? Like, what am I yet to achieve? There's something new coming. Like, we've done a lot of hard work building the Queen of Pentacles. We've built a lot of foundation, but now we have to see where maybe we've built too much foundation. What can we let go of? And what do we need to focus on? And it might not look like we expect it to. I feel like the Fool reverse is telling us like this new opportunity is not going to be something we're anticipating. If other people's readings that I've been reading throughout the day about the full moon kind of are talking about that same thing, like letting go of the anticipation. And the Empress reverse is like, yeah, it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow no matter what, but don't get caught up in it. What foundations do I need to establish to support success? We have the Nine of Cups, and he is just like so freaking happy, surrounded by his cheesesteaks, right? What foundations do I need to establish? Well, like enjoying ourselves, living in the energy of how we want to be, right? Like there's this idea of when I do the thing, I can have the thing, and then I can be the thing. And really it's you gotta be the thing, and then you can do the thing, and then you'll have the thing, right? It's not do, have, be, it's be, do, have. And I feel like the Nine of Cups is reminding us of this. Like, get in the energy, like what do you want? Do you want success? Do you want freedom? Do you want enjoyment? Do you want to take summer off? Like, get in that energy, embody that energy. This is something I've been working on a very deep level. It's really hard to do, right? Because when you're stressed by life, it's really easy to live in the stress. And I've been really trying to focus on letting go of the stress and having faith that everything is going to work out. And I cannot tell you all the little synchronicities that have arisen since I've created that just simple shift have been amazing, right? And so if we can just sit in the energy of what we want, like I want to have faith that everything's going to work out, then I gotta really live that faith and let go of the attachment to the outcome. What is non-negotiable right now? We have the Six of Coins reversed, or Six of Pentacles, and Six of Pentacles is about charity, giving charity. And I think right now with it being reversed, it's saying like you need to ask for some help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That is non-negotiable. You cannot do this alone, right? It is not. And it's funny, I was talking about that empty cup, right? Like now is not the time for you to be giving help. It's time to be asking for help. And obviously if you want to ask for help, you still have to give something, but the focus should be on allowing yourself to receive the help and support that you need. And in doing so, the people around you will also receive what they need, right? If we're all just like trying to help each other and letting go of like the shame around needing help. That is a very real thing. That is a very real thing for me, and I know it's a very real thing for a lot of people. And what do I need to release to feel successful? We have the Eight of Pentacles, and Eight of Pentacles is like focusing and just doing it over and over, that hard work. Like, she's tying her sneakers, but generally in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, the guy is like chipping away, making his next pentacle. You need to release the need to work so hard, right? Coming back, how fucking beautiful to that message of the full moon, figuring out what's working, what's not, and letting it fall away. Whatever is not working, is let it fall away. I feel like this comes up in almost every reading I do. Maybe it's me projecting, or maybe it's like the message I need to hear more. And I get to share it with all of you. And it's always my intention that this message finds whoever needs to hear it most, right? Whether that's me or the few people who find my channel. So, giving ourselves permission to follow our bliss, ask for the help we need, even if it's that help is like, just leave me alone for 5 minutes. I need to go sit down and just clear my mind, right? I know for me, I had an amazing weekend, or I had amazing Friday night, and then a very tough weekend where dealing with a lot of intrusive thoughts. It's called transgender OCD, and I am not transgender, but there's a constant like thought process around it where I get caught up in it. And this weekend I really needed to just kind of like talk about it and give myself permission to talk about it. And the more you talk about things, the less power they have over you. And I don't know that this is necessarily pertinent to this reading, but yeah, I'm just gonna put it out there. And you know, someone else has reached out to me and let me know that a lot of other people are struggling with intrusive thoughts. They didn't say like, what about? I didn't ask because they didn't share. But if there's something that you're struggling with and like that just won't leave you alone, I might have to edit this part out. I don't know. I'm feeling really uncomfortable right now. Maybe I'll leave it here. But yeah, obsessing over things that are out of our control, right? Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. But learning how to turn that off takes a lot of practice. I've been using tapping, the emotional freedom technique, to kind of just like let myself really feel all those yucky feelings, right? Because when I think about these things, it doesn't feel good. It's not like, oh, you know, like I just need to let myself out. No, like it's scary. That doesn't feel right to me. And just sitting with it and tapping through it and like letting go of that, like that triggered feeling. I mean, it takes practice. I'm sure I'm going to go through this again. So yeah, full moon energy has been whoa. In fact, I don't know, like the only reason I felt like I decided to talk about this is I read my like horoscope for the day, and it was like, just share what's on your heart today. And I had no intention of talking about the intrusive thoughts today, but it popped into my brain, and I had the horoscope telling me to share my thoughts, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna put it out there, and if you see it, great, and if you don't, that's fine too. But just know that we're all struggling with something, and again, just remembering to have compassion, because you don't know what it is that those people are struggling with. And I'm just like looking at these cards, and they're all yellow backgrounds except for the Pentacles. Well, the Queen of Pentacles is yellow background. All right, like getting in tune with your power as an individual, and that comes from like taking care of yourself first, following your bliss, and like stop killing yourself trying to work so hard and like please everybody. It doesn't work. It just does not work. So yeah, really intense energy in this full moon today. You know, I'm not like an expert astrologer, but I do follow astrology pretty closely, and I do offer natal chart readings. And as a life coach, you know, I incorporate the ability for people to understand the shadow aspects of the energy in their life and how they can embrace them and make that a strength instead of an inhibition, right? But it takes practice and it takes support. So don't be afraid to ask for support, whether it's from me or somebody else. If you need help, just find it. 4 out of these 6 cards are reversed, right? There's a lot of like internal struggle happening with this full moon. Just let it go. Again, it takes practice, it takes compassion, it takes patience. You have the ability to do that. You just need to shift your perspective. And you're gonna have to work on shifting it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because it's life, right? We build our muscle memory and our habits, and we have to rebuild those habits. If you're not happy with what things are going, you have to work on them. So, again, don't pour from that empty cup. And that takes practice too. So this took a very different turn than I was anticipating. I decided I'm not going to edit this video. I'm just going to put it out there as is. Feel free to comment below. You can contact me through my website if you have any questions or would like a reading. You can find me on Facebook as well. I have my link tree in the description below to all the ways to get in touch with me. So on that note, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Happy 4th of July. I still have yet to do my tarot reading for the month of July. I am just like a little behind the ball, and you know what? That's okay. But keep your eyes peeled for that coming out in the next couple days. Alrighty, my friends. Namaste.